Good evening, and welcome to the May McKeith and Allie Bradley Educational Foundation, also known as Educate Our Youth. The mission of Educate Our Youth is to make college more accessible through education, mentoring, professional development, and any other means available to students by offering programs such as SAT and ACT workshops, tour college campuses, assist with financial aid when applying for financial aid, financial literacy, academics and athletes, youth entrepreneurship. My name is Janet Thompson. I'm your host this evening, and my guest is Mr. Darrius Blakney, a mission counselor from Alabama A&M out of Huntsville, Alabama. Good evening, Darius. How are you this evening?
Good evening, Ms. Thompson. How you guys doing today? So glad to be here, and thank you guys for offering Alabama A&M to be I would say, for be wisdom for today.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Before we get into our question and answers, I think you have a little video you'd like to show our audience.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Greetings. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, students, and alumni, I welcome you to Alabama A&M University, home of the Bulldogs. The beautiful campus is located in Normal, Alabama, and offers over 60 degree programs. We're excited that you are interested in Alabama A&M University and invite you to earn a degree in one of our cutting-edge programs. Founded by an ex-slave, Dr. William Cooper Council, Alabama A&M University is rich in history and tradition and offers a caring and supportive environment to assist you in achieving your educational goals. As a center of excellence, the university is dedicated to providing a student-centered educational environment for the emergence of scholars, scientists, and critical thinkers who are equipped to excel through their contributions and provide leadership in a 21st century national and global society. Here at Alabama A&M University, you can start here and go anywhere. Go Bulldogs, and welcome to Alabama A&M University.
I like your mascot. Okay, are we back? Okay, Darius. So share a little bit about yourself. One moment, audience. So while we're waiting for Darius to come back, I'd like to talk to you a little about Educate Our Youth and the programs that we offer, which is SAT and ACT workshops. And hopefully, at the first of the year, we will be having those workshops again at the library here in Conway, South Carolina, and also to assist with the financial aid. And parents, if you're out there and if you're confused in helping your children applying for financial aids, please inbox me, go to our website and send me a message, and I would be glad to assist you and your student when applying for financial aid. Also, sharing any information that I may have with you as far as scholarships are concerned. I will be happy to share that information with you as well. And also career advice. You have some students that may not want to attend college at next fall when they graduate from high school. So they may want to think about what they want to do once they graduate from college. So just let me know. Inbox me. Go to our website. It's educateouryouth.info and send me an email. Here
Yes,
you
ma'am.
are.
So I guess probably had a technical problem.
Okay, that's fine. I'm glad you're back.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
All right, you guys. So my name is Darius Blakney. I am a resident of the state of Alabama, born here in Birmingham, Alabama, which is about 2 hours, roughly, probably depending on how you drive. Going to
Okay.
say the most of the hour and 30 minutes from Huntsville, Norman, Alabama. So just some history about myself. Yeah, I was educated here in Birmingham City Schools. I went to Alabama A&M on a academic scholarship and ended up getting a bachelor's of arts degree in telecommunications, the minor in computer science. When interning at one of the radio stations in Huntsville, I was offered a job, so I have a little bit more, about 2 years of radio history. Actually, I have my
Okay.
own radio shows called Coffee and Teas, kind of soul or whatever.
Okay.
It was 90.9 FM WJB. Then later on, I went back to school and get certified. So I am a secondary education CTE teacher, where I actually taught here in Birmingham City Schools for about 3 years. I was an HTML coding teacher, so I taught middle school students how to write codes and how to develop
Oh,
programs. And
okay.
now, since 2018, I reached out to university, and I've been working as a mission counselor since then.
Okay. Sounds you had an interesting academics and your job. Yeah. The jobs you hold is great too. So I know you're gonna go much further in
Oh,
life.
yes, ma'am.
There's
Yes,
a lot.
ma'am.
The road is open for you. So Darius, tell me, you're a student at Alabama A&M.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's the first thing at the admission process when if my grandchild's looking to go to Alabama A&M, what do we need to do to get her started?
So first, what the first thing I like to tell students, because me by being a counselor slash recruiter, advisor, all of those in one,
Okay.
we want everyone to, we want to get the maximum amount of students that we can get. But what I
Right.
elaborate on when I meet seniors is to make sure the school is best fits your goals. Make sure that the school has your major first off, and once you do see that we do have, because we are very broad with our programs, because a lot of students don't know that the A&M part of the extension for the actual brand is an agriculture mechanical
Horticulture.
university. So we
Mhm.
have from degrees as a veterinarian, agriculture, forestry, food science, all the way to mechanical, electrical and civil engineering. So we are very broad. So when I do go out to Detroit, Chicago, and all those other areas, even Ohio, to recruit, Pittsburgh also, a lot of students love to come to the South and also go to a HBCUs, just to throw that out there, because there are not a lot of HBCUs up north.
Right.
So a lot of students do want to get a chance to get the experience for Alabama A&M. So when actually after you get all of that bunched into one pack, right now, mostly our application will be free for our incoming students. So there's
Okay.
just one incentive that we do throw in for our students. So a lot of students did get a chance to apply through the Black Comment app, which is a resource that I think that you can apply up to like 10 schools of your
Okay.
top 10 choices. And I think the application will be free. But when going out to recruit on the road, me as a counselor, I manually waive my all of my incoming freshmen
Oh,
applications.
okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's just one thing. So even though the counselors do have those NetCat waiver forms, if I recruit the student, they would not need, to get all that information. So once completing the application, the only documents that we will need will be the unofficial transcript, because as of
Hmm.
right now, it's not official. The only thing that's basically on the students' transcripts will be the completion of the 11th grade year. So
Right.
we will accept the unofficial transcript. We are test optional due to COVID, but we are enthusing as an institution of higher learning for students to still take the standard state test, which is the ACT and the SAT, because
Right.
that's coming to Alabama A&M. I can't speak for other universities. Even though we are test optional, you cannot come on an academic scholarship without it. A
Those
test.
scores.
You
Okay.
have to have those test scores in order to get a scholarship.
Okay.
And we, one of the good things, so I'm guessing you guys are out of state, right?
Yes, we're in South
So if
Carolina.
I was accepting your daughter or niece or whatnot, the first thing that I would throw out is we have a normalized scholarship, which is an intuition state scholarship. We do have is at the lowest of a 2.0 and an 18 or 960. So the 18 on the ACT,
Oh
960 on
wow.
the SAT, or a 3.0 and a 17 or 920. So if you can get either one of those requirements, then we will award you in-state tuition. So when giving that information, a lot of out-of-state students kind of brace in a little bit more to get to a little bit to understand a little bit more information about our institution. Then secondly, I will go into the scholarships, because those scholarships are stackable. We have our heritage scholarships, which at the lowest of a 920 and a 2.5, so a 3.0, you can apply. You can also fit the requirement for additional scholarships. You can come on 2 scholarships just at the lowest of a 3.0 and a 960 on the SAT, or 17 on the ACT.
And you said that was a heritage scholarship?
Yes, ma'am. So how we do it is we have the normalized scholarship, which waives your out-of-state tuition.
Okay.
That requirement, and those scholarships are stackable with the Heritage Gold and the Silver scholarships we do also have. So the Heritage Silver Scholarship 3.0 with the 17 or 920, so $14,000 grant. And then we have the Heritage Gold, which is also stackable with the normal light 3.25 with the 17 or 920. That's a $20,000 grant.
Okay. Now you're the first counselor to say that they should have ACT and SAT scores when applying for your college since COVID, because I've interviewed several universities and colleges where they don't have to have the SAT ACT score, but they are testing them with placement tests once they arrive on campus. So if my student has an ACT or SAT score, the placement test wouldn't be necessary for your campus, right?
So our requirements, our legal requirements right now would be a 2.0 and a 960 or 18. So if you do not make at least that on the ACT and have that GPA, you will have to take the placement test when coming. Yes, you have to take your placement test when coming. And another good factor is, I can only speak for Alabama A&M, is we're just trying to disregard having to reconcile on how many students will be given scholarship that's only accepted on a test optional. And just speaking clearly for our university, it's going to be better on the back end for students, to have those test scores, because I'm just going to give you an example. If a student has a 4.0 and has at least a 13 on the ACT, then of course, when coming in, they will be on a conditional acceptance. So they will have to take the placement test. But if they can at least get a 920, then they would disregard, having to take the placement test. So basically what every other university is doing is, if you only get accepted on the test waiver, then we still have to test, put you in the placement, make you take the placement test to see if you are, on the college level. So just to beat that out. And also it's not fair to the students. Our presidential scholarship right now is at a 3.75 with a 1,300 or a 28 on the ACT. And then our full tuition scholarship, which is our merit scholarship, it is a lowest of a 3.25 and a 23 and 1130 on the SAT. So those requirements are not that high. So what I tell students when going out there is, yes, I know our test optional. Please take the test. You never know what score you could get, because you can come on a full tuition scholarship or a presidential scholarship with the scores that you could make. So I think is basically is hindering the student not taking the test. I mean, I know different schools has different ways of, how they work, but I think it'll just be more safer for us to just kind of just work on the guidelines that we've been doing, because what a lot of universities going to have to do is they're going to have to buy by what they offer the student. And that's going to kind of be wavy, because you can have 7,000 students who has a 3.0, but test scores are below a 13 or 14.
Right.
If you offer them a scholarship already, so it's just too much toss up. So just to kind of keep it wave, just take the ACT, and if you can't get the score you want, then you still can get accepted on the ACT waiver.
Right. Or you can take it more than one time.
Exactly, because we do super score also.
Right. Yeah, because I've recommended that to I have a 16-year-old granddaughter as well, and I recommend it to her, even though the counselors are telling them that if they don't have to turn in the ACT scores, but I have counseled her to take the SAT and the ACT just to have it. So, and after hearing you say what you just said, I'm glad that, I've been leading her down that road,
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me, once a student is accepted at Alabama, what is the next step?
So after the student is accepted, first, what we do is our turnaround process is about 5 business days. So we send out our acceptance emails on Friday. So Our coordinator, shout out to Miss Mary Morrow, who's the coordinator over our admissions department. She makes sure that every Friday those emails goes out to the students who have been accepted to university. And then within the next week or so, you will get your acceptance packet in the mail. So once you get your acceptance packet in the mail, then it gives detailed steps on what you need to do next. Most of the times, it's in chronological order. The next thing to do is to make sure that you are have your FAFSA application completed.
Right.
Make sure that you have added the school code to the FAFSA application. Next will be to pay your enrollment fee, which is a one-time 115 charge to guarantee your commitment to the university. After that will be just scheduling to make sure that your immunizations and all those different things are to our center. And then the last thing will be to apply for housing for our, if you would like to stay on campus, because now with a lot of students, at a couple of years, I'm gonna say my first year working as an admissions counselor, I think we recruited over 1,700 freshmen. Being in the HBCU, we did not have enough housing. So we had to open up, the opportunity or the accommodation for freshmen who would like to stay off campus, or we have off-campus housing that you can use those as another incentive. So you don't have, it's not a requirement now to stay on campus. It was back in the day, but it's gradually growing. So every year, we get boosts up to like more 300-400 students that we've had in the past.
And so you provide transportation for those students that stay off campus?
Yes, ma'am. So we do have buses that goes around the campus, and also the actual mobile buses that goes through the city of Huntsville. But we allow freshmen to bring cars to our campus. So most of freshmen, unless you stay like in California and think places, Hawaii, places that's kind of real far, then they may not drive. But we do allow freshmen to drive, so we really don't have that scuffle too much. Here at the university. And I know y'all keep hearing me saying Huntsville, Alabama, but Norma, Alabama, you guys, and just hearing in a video, our president, Dr. Houdini, spoke about 5 seconds about our ex-slave. He was actually ex-slave. He was actually sold on that campus, broken away from his family, and the land was sold for about, I can't think, it was like $5,000 or something like that, but that was a lot of money back in the day. And, things like that. So he actually turned it around, and at first it was a hospital, it was a school for Negroes at the time, and then it just kept coming. First it was a community college, then it became a university. So Dr. Council went through a lot, to change it. So his vision was to keep it as Norma, Alabama, because he never just wanted that vision of the slavery. He wanted to kind of just take that away. So that's why it's Norma, Alabama, and it's not Huntsville. So we are actually its own city inside of another city.
Oh, okay. So tell me, do you require audition or essays when applying to enter Alabama A&M?
We do not. Just as long as you have the GPA and test score, you will be good.
Oh, okay. And so you said kids can have cars and stuff on campus. What about your accessibility to administrators and staff? A lot of times, especially freshmen, run into problems when their first year. Are they accessible are the administrators accessible to the students?
So we have what is called our freshman academy. And all of our freshmen, we actually put a hold on their account, so they have to be advised the first year of being a student. After getting the cumulative of 32 hours, then they will be eligible for to be considered as a sophomore, and also they will have to actually get accepted to their department. So they have to go to their actual department and meet their new academic advisor. So we don't release students until they become a sophomore. So once you get your first schedule or whatnot, you will know exactly who your academic advisor is, and you just go directly to Freshman Academy to meet your academic advisor until you become a sophomore.
Okay. Do y'all have classes abroad, or do y'all have a study abroad program on your campus?
We do have a study abroad, and it's different opportunities, but those, how can I put it? The way that it goes is basically you have to kind of do it in an emergency because those not, it goes up very rapidly. A lot of students do, sign up for those programs. So, by being an admissions counselor, we don't get into more for with abroad, when recruiting, we just let students, we do offer it on campus. We can't guarantee, but we can give you the point of contact, the person you need to contact about that different department.
Oh, okay. So, does teachers, the way they're taught is do they lecture based? Or are the classes one-on-one, or do they use TAs to instruct the students?
So it's built on a lecture base.
Okay.
But one thing I could say is all of our professors, and the reason I can say that is because I'm working on my third master's now, unfortunately.
Okay.
So with that being said, I've been all over the place here at Alabama A&M, and I'm just jumping from education to computer science to communications, all three of those different ones, and even the public administration. The professors are very lenient. They are, self-forgiving. You just have to put your force out there. They have to know that you are at least giving 70 to 80%.
Right. Okay.
And just know that you're not wasting their time. I just remember one class in my undergrad I had was Spanish, because if you get any communication degree at Alabama, and you have to take 2 years of a foreign language,
Oh wow.
4 semesters.
Oh
So I
wow.
was at my 4th semester, and it was, it was kicking me, and trying to graduate with honors, at least 3.0. I did have a 3.0, but I didn't want to make a C. So what I
Right.
did was I went to her office every day. I stayed over for tutoring. We do offer free tutoring services in our freshman academy building too.
Okay.
Also, and it's for all students and not just for freshmen also. So I went to our 10 building. That's what we call tutoring and networking services. I went there and got some tutors to help me with that, and I finally passed the class with an A.
Oh, okay, cool. So y'all have tutoring services. How about writing labs, math labs, things of that nature are available to the
Yes, ma'am.
kids as well?
Yes, ma'am. So in our engineering department, we have certified NASA labs that are certified through the National Department, Airborne, Microsoft, because we have those big time marketing companies that have contracts with us, and actually come to our campus and interview our students before graduation. We have each dormitory has a lab. Addition to the library, the student center, the health and wellness center, and all of the classroom buildings also has labs also. So we have a lot of resources for our students to get their lesson and to make sure they are on task.
Okay. What about dormitory life? I know most college campuses have quads. I don't know whether some freshmen are 2 to a room, some have, with the 4 quads. I think you have about 8 people to a quad. So before.
So how we do it is we have a dorm that's strictly for freshmen. It is called our foster complex. It
Okay.
is a dorm that is built on apartment style. You have your own bathroom, living room, kitchen area, all of those
Oh,
resources.
okay.
And it's going to be 4 to a suite. So it'll
Okay.
be 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, and they only will share the common room, which is going to be considered the living room area, with all the resources as far as the microwave and the refrigerator. So that's
Okay.
going to be the dorm strictly only for freshmen. Now, once that dorm fills up, then the other freshmen will have to stay in the traditional dorms. But the
Okay.
first dorm, the foster dorm, does fill about 900 freshmen. So
Oh, that's a lot of students.
yeah, but the last 600 to 700, because like I said, we roughly do get about 15 to 1600 freshmen every year. They have no other choice but to stay in the traditional dorms or stay off campus once that suite style dorm fills up.
Okay. Receiving that many freshmen, what's the percentage of graduation rate?
So as of right now, we're right roughly at 85% for our graduation rate.
Okay.
And with the receiving a lot of those students, our presiding vice president, Dr. Crosby, everyone had their own caseload of students who had to actually mentor every other day. So
Okay.
just to make sure, so we're basically like success coaches on the back end, outside the advising and counseling, to make sure the students are doing what they're supposed to do, and also just giving the students information. If they want to just know some personal life, anything. It could be, like I said, it could be emotional, spiritual, anything. We're just basically just there to, help them get by and make sure that they have a healthy career there at Alabama A&M.
Okay. How is the surrounding community?
So the surrounding,
And the campus is safety for students?
so the safety, and I'm from Birmingham, which is one of the worst places to stay in the state of Alabama as far as with the crimes.
Yeah.
Huntsville is ranked number 3 in the state for the safest
Okay.
place to stay. It's very diverse, and it's also a growing city.
Okay.
And it's every race you can think, from black, white to Hispanic, Asian. Everyone is there because, like I said, it's a growing city. So basically, a lot of people are growing with it.
Okay. So tell me, almost I lost my train of thought. Your programs. I think I just saw you had 60 programs on your campus.
Yes, ma'am. So those are the 60 majors, but we do have a little bit more concentration. So I'm just giving you an example, like for the biology, we have a
Mm-hmm.
concentration in pre-nursing and pre-med. So
Okay.
and you can take, or you can just strictly just do biology. So just in that one major, you have 3 different concentrations. So
Okay.
I'm gonna roughly say around at roughly about 120 something
Oh, wow.
majors that you can major in there at the university.
So your pre-med, so is there med school close by, or they would do pre-med at A&M and then they would go out to Meharry or someplace? I know Meharry is in Tennessee. So,
Yeah, but we being here from Alabama, we have UAB, which is one of the best hospitals in the world and ranked one of the best medical schools in the world. Also,
okay.
we get a lot of students from
That's
Huntsville.
University of Alabama?
No, the University of Birmingham in
University
Alabama. I'm sorry,
okay.
the University of Alabama in Birmingham.
Birmingham. I got
Yeah,
you. I got
yeah.
you.
So that's like one of the top, schools in the nation. So that's what a lot of our medical students do get accepted into. Also, we have UAH, which is University of Hospital in Huntsville. We have that also as another resource for our students.
Okay.
And it's basically just it's very broad. We had a student to graduate from Chicago last year, and he's in medical school now, but he's in medical school in Chicago. So they basically just choose on where they want to go. But one thing I could say is with that biology pre-med degree, it holds a lot of weight. You
Okay.
basically get into whatever medical school you want to get into. You just have to make sure that you have the right MCAT score and a good enough GPA to get in.
Okay. What about law school? Do you have a school of law on campus?
Yes, ma'am. So we do. No, we don't have a school of law, but we do have. It's up under our public affairs office. So we do have criminal justice
Okay.
and pre-law,
Pre-law.
and
Okay.
so pre-law is up on our criminal justice umbrella, and we do also have political science, which is also up on our pre-law, and we have forensics also. So a lot of
Okay.
students come there if they want to do something like CSI or on the backside of forensics. We do have that also for the students.
I wanted to be a forensic photographer for some reason. I have an associate degree in criminal justice. I don't know why I wanted to do that, and I can't stand to see to see things. You know what I mean? But so tell me about your athletes, your that department.
So we just won the Magic City Classic this
All
past
right.
Saturday. So
Okay.
that's a good thing. We have won it 3 years in a row. So with the athletics, we are D1 for all of our athletic sports. They're on campus for our females. We have basketball, golf, tennis, track and field, volleyball, of course,
Okay.
basketball, and we just added cross country and bowling because we have an on campus bowling alley. And then for our
Okay.
males, we have basketball, football, golf, tennis, track and field. And
Okay.
those are the sports. And like I said, all of our sports are NCAA, so you have to be cleared through the NCAA clearinghouse to be eligible for any of our sports on campus.
Okay. So have a marching band.
Yes, ma'am. The March in Maroon and White. So you guys,
Okay.
if you have any questions or concerns, we actually are having our National High School Senior Day this Saturday. I know it's kind
Oh,
of late of getting that information, but I'm actually a March Maroon and White myself. So I marched in
okay.
2008 and 2009 when I was in college. So I have a good relationship with the band director there at Alabama,
Yeah.
and I'm Mr. Carton Wright. So what we've been doing is once we recruit the student and they basically get accepted, we'll just refer you over and he'll just make sure that he scheduled for a audition if you like to come on the academics. I'm sorry, on a music scholarship, band scholarship,
Okay.
or and if you can't come down, he has been doing this in the previous years of doing a Skype audition if you can't make it in to the campus. So he's just been trying to make accommodations due to COVID too.
Oh, right, right. So tell me, what about your internships for juniors and seniors? How is that a big program or
So each major is different, but all of our majors do require you to take an internship besides general studies. So if
okay?
you get a general studies degree, then it's basically just
Yeah.
general
General
studies. But
studies, right?
yeah, but all of our other majors, we do require our students to intern. So most of our students intern their senior year.
Okay, yeah.
You can intern your junior year, but not saying that we will accept it because it has to be accredited through the university. So basically, they have to get a certain form signed from the department chair of each department to make sure that it is accredited and make sure that it is high level enough to be qualified for you guys to say, okay, I intern at this place and I now can go out in the field and do the same amount of work. So by me having that communications background, me working at an actual radio station, that was a high enough profession for me to intern at, and I was
Okay.
offered the job after graduating.
Do they have paid internships or volunteer? Is it non-payable?
So if your internship is paid, that's totally about, if your mouthpiece is just if that is that good. But
Okay.
most internships are not paid. If it is paid, you won't get paid through the university. You would
It'll be
get
to
paid
the
directly
company.
from whatever business that you're working for.
Okay. Okay. So is the campus friendly to students?
Yes, man. We have a very, very friendly campus. We have what I enthuse students to do, especially students who are out of state, far away from home. Joining student organizations. We have student
Mhm.
activities,
Yeah.
SGA. We have all the Greek organizations, all the Divine Nine. We have yearbook staff, international studies, global transfer studies. We have a lot of different, and also business and honor fraternities and sororities. We have a lot of resources for students. And like I said, a lot of activities, dance organizations, house arrays, nemesis, a lot of things,
Okay.
different things that students can do, to kind of build a bond and build a family on campus. So we really don't get that too much of. A lot of students, get homesick and things like that, unless you just,
Right.
don't want to try. But we have so much going on campus every day. Most of the times, if it's not educational, it is activities where students, to try to keep them on safe first, and
Yes.
also to try to
Yes.
keep them interactive at all times.
So are y'all are in class, right? Y'all not virtual.
We are in class. So I'm in graduate school now, and we are going back to regular way, unfortunately, in spring.
Okay.
But we gave you a choice, so you can either do online or you can do in face.
Okay.
But this is the last semester for the optional. Now it is going back to regular life.
Yeah. So tell me, what made you go to Alabama A&M?
So first, being from Birmingham, and I'm not, speaking clearly, I'm not, baggering or, talking bad about the actual teachers that we did have. But back in 2006, seven, like the years that I was in high school, we really didn't have the counselors to actually take us out and to venture and to
Right.
actually see, what school did we actually wanted to go to. So actually how me and a lot of my friends ended up at Alabama A&M was because we were band students.
Mm.
And the band director at that time, Mr. Darius, came and
Okay.
auditioned us and gave us a very large scholarship. So that's basically how a lot of us got to Alabama
Okay.
A&M. So it's
Okay.
basically like last choices. But
Okay.
being from
Right.
Birmingham, yeah, but being from Birmingham, since those are the big rival schools instead of Alabama, it's the HBCUs. Either you go to Alabama A&M or you go to Alabama State.
I
But yeah,
got you.
so I just now Birmingham City schools, they are getting better. But back when I was in high school, they really did not support colleges, to
Hmm.
come in and do private visits. And I can maybe remember maybe one private visit from university coming in out of the whole 4 years of me being at Carver High School in Birmingham.
And that just wasn't in Alabama. That existed here in South Carolina as well. And because when I worked at Educational Talent Search, I experienced that with some of the counselors with some of my students that was in the program. The counselors was not advising them correctly, and they really wasn't giving it their all to help that student
Mhm.
get in. So, and I saw that firsthand. So I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Yes,
So, what
ma'am.
advice would you give a freshman that wants to attend college, not just Alabama A&M, but any college? What advice would you give a student?
So my advice that I give to any student that has the dream and the goals to attend any higher ed program or institution is to take your education very seriously. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
time to play and it's a time, to laugh. It's a time for everything, but time management is something that you're going to learn once you become a college student.
Oh,
It's
yes.
basically valuing, make sure that your time is valuable. Make sure you fit in the time to study every day. Make sure that you fit a time in to read the book, whatever that's assigned. Just make sure you fit that time in. As long as you fit that time in to get the education, it's going to be time to do everything else. And
Right.
one thing that I have learned being 31 years old now is my mom always said, you're gonna get grown, you're gonna in your child, and I understand. So once you get 21, after you get that, like your child years are no longer there. So now your hair is turning gray, you know, you're getting arthritis in your legs. It's just a lot of things that start. Then by the time you come 40, and then you're just like, you know what? I don't. So
Look, you don't get no. You don't get optimized before you turn 40. Wait to hit 50 or 60.
okay. But yeah,
But you do
so
be transitioning, though. I understand what you're
yeah.
saying.
So
Yeah,
so life will pass you by. So I would say, you know, start, and then a lot of seniors, what I've seen, they'll have that 1300 on the SAT or that 30 on the SAT or the ACT,
yeah.
and GPA be like a 2.0. And then one thing they'll say was, in my freshman and sophomore year, I wasn't taking school
They blew
seriously.
it.
So they blew it. So my advice to you guys is take every class very seriously. Make sure if your goal is to make an A, write down daily goals. Don't just have yearly goals. Write down daily goals. My goal today is to read 10 pages out of this book. I do it myself. I even have hourly goals, not to pick up my phone. You know, just certain things, just learning self-discipline.
I like that. I like that.
It's one thing that you also going to learn after, you know, becoming a college student and learning how to survive also. So that's my advice for all of my, you know, future college students, is just to make sure that your education and God are the first two things that are put first, and He will lead you the correct way. Hey, I'm 31 now, and I'm working on my third master's degree. So, you know, the sky's the limit. Self-discipline, time management, and to make sure that you just know that it's a time and a place for everything.
Yes, it is. And I know your mother is so proud of you.
Well, actually, nothing is not. She's like a Dubois. So if you ever seen the Empire, nothing is never good enough for her. But you know, I applaud her for that, because you know she's basically saying, if you get a B, you could have done better. You know, so, and she's an educator herself. She's been a special education teacher now for like, I don't know, like 30 years. So I don't know when she's going to retire. Probably never. But
she eventually will. But parents see the potential in their children, so she see your potential.
Yeah.
But Darius, it's been wonderful talking to you. You have been very informative. You can reach Darius at his email address, which is darius.blakney@aamu.edu. His phone number is 256-783-9006. And you tell Mr. Green that I really enjoy speaking with you this afternoon and having you as a guest.
Yes, man. Let him know that it was wonderful. So
I will. Yeah, I will.
Yes,
I'll give him a call or email.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you have a great evening.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
All right.